Welcome to Fashion Reverie Talks. I am Tijana Ibrahimovic.
And I am Cicily Daniels.
Fashion Reverie takes you from the front lines of fashion to the front row.
All of Fashion Reverie Talks segments are based on published content found on fashionreverie.com.
So remember, if you want more information on the segments, go to fashionreverie.com.
In this episode, we chat with noted fashion designer Kevan Hall, and we host a roundtable discussion about New York Fashion Week's Fall 2022 season.
So we start every episode with fashion news, and our news segments are based on the fashion news alert found on fashionreverie.com. So let's jump into the current events in fashion. Let's start with Harlem Fashion Row and Barbie.
Yes, well, it is exciting. You know, we all are into fashion collaborations, but we were not, or I didn't think that we were going to get this one. So I am excited. And it is a collaboration that is happening at the end of Black History Month. Harlem Fashion Row and Barbie. So Harlem Fashion Row designers Hanifa, Kimberly Goldson, and Rich Fresh are having a collaboration with Barbie, which I think is so fun and exciting for adults and children, because myself, I'm also excited about it. People talking about it, everyone, or a lot of people, loved Barbie as a child. And in this way, I think that these are going to be like exciting for people who like to collect, obviously exciting for a parent that might be shopping for, their son or daughter, for anybody who, might be into fashion.
And for their wallets, right?
Right.
Parents.
Right. I think that there's some gorgeous colors and, on Barbies of color, and, seeing dolls representing different complexions, different skin tones, seeing yourself in dolls, I think is important for everyone. So I'm very excited. I think it's really cool.
I love Barbies, so I'm always excited about any Barbie collab or collection inspired by Barbies. And it seems like the Barbies are sort of getting super popular again. Barbies are getting so many collaborations, more than any other brand in the past years. So
also, the clothes are fierce. Like, they're clothes that you wish you could also wear. So there is that. And as you know, I have a 4-year-old daughter, so I guess I have no excuse. I will need to buy them all.
Or I would use that as an excuse to play with Barbies myself. But let's talk about another brand. Let's talk about Ralph Lauren. I mean, everyone is familiar with the brand. Very popular in United States. And so there are talks that Ralph Lauren might be for sale. And so LVMH, that we are all sort of familiar with, Moet Hennessy, Louis Vuitton, that represents a lot of luxury brands like Christian Dior, Fendi, Givenchy, Marc Jacobs, and many other beverages that we all like to enjoy, is actually in the talks with Ralph Lauren to purchase the brand. So Ralph Lauren, who is 82 years old, holds the most voting rights in his fashion brand. But if this happens, LVMH would acquire the biggest name in fashion, in American fashion. Neither of the two parties commented, so we're not really sure about any details or if it's really going to happen, but I guess it remains to be seen. So the last brand LVMH purchased that we're very familiar with is Tiffany's, and some of these sort of combinations have been successful and some not so much, like Donna Karan that was purchased in 2001, not very profitable. So what do you think? What would this be a good idea for Ralph Lauren?
I mean, what I will say, obviously, longevity, Ralph Lauren. So you know what I'm saying? Like, I do think that, that it could be a good acquisition for them. I guess, time will tell. We will see. We will see. But, two very big lines, big names, so we'll wait and see.
Yeah.
So our last bit of fashion news that we're going to talk about is about a celebrity couple. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, Idris Alba is in a couple, and it is not with any of you, unless you are his wife, Sabrina. Idris revealed that he and his wife, they have a podcast together. First of all, how cute. They have a podcast together called Coupledom, and they're going to be launching a gender-neutral well-being and skincare line. And I think that's, obviously gender neutral is important for a lot of different people, so that people feel comfortable, purchasing things that they feel it's appropriate for them. And the brand is going to produce product that is inclusive and available to people. They're trying to make it just a broad, umbrella, all ethnicities, genders, backgrounds, and a lot of African, and the formulas are supposed to contain a lot of African ingredients with sustainable formulations. And they're going for luxury, but also affordable. So even though, like I've said, in case anyone is confused, none of us except Sabrina is married to Idris Alba. I think that, venturing out into new horizons is always exciting. I love a product. So, I'm always ready to try a new product. And I think, gender neutral is like, more people can feel comfortable, whether it's if the sense, also sustainability is hugely important for our planet. So I'm excited. What do you think, Tijana?
I don't know. I think market is already a little bit oversaturated with celebrities having their beauty products. So I'm not all that excited about it. And I feel like I've been using myself like natural ingredients and kind of gender neutral because sometimes they have no scent or whatever. So right. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'm willing to try.
Well, Idris, that means Tijana has thrown down the bar. So that means you all have to just keep your products up to par to make us want to purchase them. So that is it for our fashion news segment. But I am thrilled to bring our next guest up. We have a very special guest. Our very own editor-in-chief, William Gooch, will be interviewing the extraordinary fashion designer, Kevan Hall. So welcome, William and Kevan.
Thank you, Cicely. It's so good to be here in our third episode of Fashion Reverie Talks in the year 2022. I am so thankful and we feel very privileged to be interviewing noted fashion designer Kevan Hall. We were all at Kevan Hall's show in September in New York City in his return back to the runway in New York. So Kevan, thank you for coming on our show this morning. I know it's early in California where you're based at 9:30, so thanks for being so gracious. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to chat with you and your audience.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. So let's jump right in. So your show was a digital show this time for fall 2022 season,
right?
But it was absolutely stunning, gorgeous. Everything we expect from you, you always continue to do. So let's talk a little bit about the inspiration for this collection and all the wonderful fabrics that you use and what inspired you to go down this particular route.
Right. So I was really excited to do this collection, and it really was just a merging of different regions and a merging of different cultures and that kind of thing. The collection was called Trading Post. And when I think about, time of antiquity, back in the 1400s, thinking about Mali, thinking about Morocco, thinking about Tarshish, which is, in antiquity is said to have been the area that King Solomon went to find the gold, the ivory, and all the textures and all the beautiful fabrics and things to build that, the temple of God. So it was like this merging, a convergence of all these cultures in a trading post. So what would you see in a trading post? you would see, beautiful textiles, you would see spices, you would see, people from various cultures, coming together. And that's what Trading Post, this collection was really about, an intersection of all those things that are beautiful from kind of like from another time and another place.
Now, this collection really had a lot of beautiful highlights. You had lots of bold color, which I know you love to use all the time anyway.
Yeah.
And this collection is really for a woman who wants to make a statement and go out and enjoy life. For 2 years, we've kind of been stuck under COVID, not being able to go out, not being able to party, not being able to be around our friends. So this collection is really for that woman who's ready to go out and make a statement and enjoy her life. Could you speak to that and how this collection meets that consumer's needs?
Right. So this collection I love this collection because it takes us from day to night. And
yes,
when I say about my day is not like regular day. I call it high day. So it's like special day.
Okay.
And so
right.
Yeah. So it's taking her, from day to night in beautiful colors and beautiful textures. The collection has a good amount of stretch and ease in it, because I think after people being in sweatpants for 2.5 years and hanging out at the house, and doing Zoom calls and looking decent from here up, but then the bottom, only God knows what was going on down there.
You don't want to see what I have on from the waist down.
I think that people don't want to give up their comfort. They want to still be comfortable, but they want to now look good. I think they're tired of being in the sweat. So, it was about finding that balance. So, things that have comfort, things that feel good to the body, things that are, tactile, things that have a bit of stretch, because, stretch is every girl's friend. So we just kind of, put it in the pot, mixed it up, and kind of came back with something that I think really has resonated with clients, because, we've started to show it. We've started to, go on trunk shows and that kind of thing and get the response, and people are loving the collection. They're loving the mixture of the fabrics, of the colors. Everything was kind of, these beautiful, rich colors like we used, ruby and amethyst and onyx colors. And, everything was like touched with black and gold or silver. Everything was like sprinkled with a little bit of lurex. So there was a little bit of shine and a little bit of luster to the fabrics and that kind of thing. So,
and you also have a lot of gold and silver metallic fibers woven into the actual textiles, correct?
Exactly. Lots of lurex and metallics woven into the chiffons. I mean, there was a chiffon that I used that I particularly fond of. I spent a lot of money on this fabric, and I in my past, I have spent a lot of money on fabrics and embroideries, but this time I kind of went overboard because I had to have this fabric, and it was a chiffon that was kind of shot with lurex and shot with gold in these beautiful paisley shapes.
Yeah,
I did it in a few different places throughout the collection. Of course, in the film, you didn't see everything. We just narrowed it down to things that I wanted to highlight. But it's just those fabrics look back to, like, I'm going to just say, like 70s and early 80s. Yves Saint Laurent at his peak. Yes. You can't even find those fabrics anymore. And I stumbled upon a resource that actually wove these fabrics for us. And it just, for me, was a really wonderful highlight to kind of look back to that really super luxe time, 70s, mixing that with the idea of this trading post from the 1400s and 1500s, and then making it a convergence for somebody to step out today.
Now, that's a very interesting point, because one of the things I've noticed about your collections over the years is that you use very familiar silhouettes that we're all familiar with. Lots of, and this collection has a lot of cutouts. It has some cocktail dresses with some ruffle flourishes, dresses with high slits. We've seen these silhouettes for quite a long time, but you find a way to take these very, very familiar silhouettes and update them for the modern consumer. How do you do that? How do you keep your consumer happy with these very familiar silhouettes that you're updating?
Right. It's, for me, again, it goes back to the textiles. It goes back to proportion. when you're cutting, I feel like sometimes when you're cutting, let's say a dress and you want to put a high slit in it, then you got to take that dress down to a midi length, a mid ankle length. Or, when you very often in the suits now, we started to build those shoulders up again. We're starting to see a little bit of more padding in the shoulder. So it's in the subtle nuances that I think make something look new, and that changes the eye. It's about proportion. It's about cut. It's about, fabrication. And now it's about comfort.
George Balanchine, the famous choreographer, always said, he didn't create anything. Only God creates. He just assembles very well. Yes, so you assemble very well.
I feel like I'm a conduit for God to kind of flow through me. The creativity kind of flows through me. And I always say that I'm constantly searching the world for beauty. When I'm walking down the street, when I'm going to this market, when I'm going to, to a film or to the museum or whatever, I'm just constantly looking for beauty. And I try to put that in the collections.
Now, last question. You recently showed at the NAACP event in Hollywood,
yes,
which was kind of like a pre-event or preview to the Golden Globes. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so that event was yesterday. It was an amazing
yesterday.
Event.
I didn't realize it was that quick.
Fresh, yes. You were up on your news.
Well, we have to do our job here. That's our job.
You are on your news. So yes, that was yesterday. It was incredible. It was about an audience of about 400 people. And the NAACP invited the Black Design Collective, which I am the president of, to come and show a collection. So in that show, we had Byron Lars, we had Epperson, we had Isaiah Hemingway, myself, and it was just an incredible, rollout of each designer has a different aesthetic and a different mood and a different feel. And the audience really, really loved it. And like you said, it was the Golden Globes, pre-award season. And Zarina Akers was there. Zarina is the stylist for Beyonce. And actually I bumped into her and she's working on something now for Megan Stallion. So the audience was packed with, celebrities sprinkled in the audience, fashionistas. Actually, one of the new editors from Essence Magazine flew out for the day to join us. So it was a great event.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Hall, for your time this so early in the morning in Los Angeles. We are so grateful. And thank you for being so gracious. And we love your collection. Go to fashionreverie.com. Read my review of your collection.
Okay, we'll do.
Have a good time. Have a good day,
Thank
sir.
You too. Thank you.
So our next segment is New York Fashion Week, Fall 22. We have Scott French from Very New York, our editor-in-chief, William Gooch, my co-host, Cicily Daniels, and myself. And we'll be discussing some of the designers that presented. So Scott, why don't you kick off this panel?
Oh, well, thank you for having me. It's very exciting. And yes, New York Fashion Week was back live this season. I couldn't have been more excited, especially when I got this invitation in the mail. I got a great invitation to Christian Siriano's show. Christian's shows are really great when he's season, and I've not been able to go for the past few seasons. I don't know why, but whatever. I still ran out to this one. But it was set underneath 34th Street in the basement of the Empire State Building, in this big cavernous space that was like part Soho loft and part bomb shelter. I was like, what are we walking into here? And I'm like, I was like, how strange. Fluorescent lighting everywhere. It's very
Scott. That sounds like the post office during Fashion Week.
I know, it was. It felt like back to Moynihan Station. But anyway, I walked in.
Right.
And then I read the line notes and it said this is about the Victorian Matrix. I'm like, oh, it all sort of became clear. So when the collection started walking down the runway, I was like, oh, okay, now I get it. These Victorian gowns with these finishes, very shiny, polished, like almost painted looking finishes on them. And Siriano's words, he was feeling like some days you're like living in the Victorian era and some days you're living in the Matrix. Trust me, I think we all feel that one. But really some standouts at the beginning were like these opera gloves all the way up to the biceps that match the dresses, these these all monochrome fabrics in this denim, indigo denim. But Coco Rocha came out. Of course, Coco Rocha can wear a trash bag and, you know, make it look fabulous. But she came walking out.
To me, Scott started to interject. Some of the pieces look a little bit like trash bags. I'm sorry.
Okay, well.
Anyway, keep going.
Well, okay. Well, but the trash bags that Siriano made look pretty good. The Coco Rocha came out, and this one piece I want to really mention was this pantsuit with these ruffles all the way down the sleeves on both sides. And it gave her these like wings, almost like angelic, and sort of had a.
That was nice. That was nice.
It was really lovely. And then, but yeah, when Coco got to the middle of the runway and did her whole like angular back pose, the audience shrieked out loud. It was like it was a real fashion moment. But like, you know, all the other collections this season, what really stood out about this one was all the other collections looked like explosions of color. And this was one note, one monochrome note, indigo from beginning to end. What do you guys think about this color palette?
Well, Cicely, you go first.
Well, I was just going to say, I do like the color. Like, I do always like multiple colors. I just like a colorful everything. But there were certain pieces that I thought were individually very stunning. Like always a gown. Christian Siriano loves a gown, and I appreciate that just because, you gotta be able to pull it up. And I also like how he chooses his model. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Like, not every piece would be for me, but but I enjoyed it.
Tijana?
I love opera gloves, and I'm yet to, complete my collection. Those are actually hard to find, especially quality. So I have to see, I have to go to his store. But when it comes to indigo color, I think it's a great color. I love wearing it because it's a little bit different than the everyday black we always wear. And it just, I think, I don't know, brings out a nice a vibe. Let's put it that way. For
Tijana, maybe we should say a nice vamp.
Wait, there you go. Well, a lot of these pieces had some vampire quality to them. There's this one piece that, as we moved through the collection, there was this long mermaid black, almost midnight black velvet gown with like a very high shirt collar, men's very trompe l'oeil feeling. And I saw quite a few. There it is in the middle of our screen. I saw quite a few of these like vampire details in some of the men's collections as well as the week went on. But Siriano really brought it to a wearable sort of level. And some of the other questionable pieces were: is it Birkins or is it a hat? Is it a cocoon or is it a blouse? Is it a lot of these very questionable looking silhouettes? So he asked some questions that I felt a lot of designers back in the 60s and 70s were asking as part of what they did, and have been lacking from fashion for quite some time. And, here's what I have to sell. He's like, well, maybe this is something you might want to wear, might want to consider. And I found it thought-provoking.
Very quickly, I love some pieces in the collection. I think fashion should be next, now, and next. And this collection included all of that. There were pieces that did not excite me as much, but I really did love the denim pieces. I think he took denim to a whole nother level, and brava, Christian.
Yeah.
Well, guys, are you ready for our next brand, Custo Barcelona?
Yes.
So after 2 years, Custo Barcelona was back to New York Fashion Week. And so they returned powered by Art Hearts Fashion. For those that aren't familiar, it is a brand founded by Custo Dalmau and his brother David in the 80s, known for a lot of mixing of fabrics and patterns, utilizing bright and bold colors, which we all need. And, the theme of this collection represented the idea of shining again to sort of radiate light and illuminate the world, which, it's time. It's been 2 years. You all need to get out with bright colors and, you know, bring in spring, even though it's a little bit chilly outside, especially it was during Fashion Week. So we can find sort of different shapes and patterns. He included a lot of fun fabrics like shiny velvets, multicolored sequins, and sort of vibrant satins. And so there were a lot of outerwear pieces that appeared on the runway, but also a lot of fun dresses. I mean, it is a collection where he did utilize different color palettes, and also something that I feel like each one of us can find a piece to wear. Especially like his stores are pretty approachable, especially in Europe. So I liked it. I'm always interested to see what Custo has in store for us. So what do you guys think? Did you see it? And what did you like? What you did not like?
Well, I reviewed this collection, so I love Custo Barcelona. I love it every year. This season to me was a wonderful return back to what they are known for, which is using a lot of architectural shapes, a lot of graphics, and bold color. In some seasons before, I think he kind of went a little bit off their signature DNA, but he really came back. I always call him Dalmo. Dalmo really came back front and center with what he's really known for. I think there were great pieces that can be mixed and matched. It is a very youthful collection, so that might turn off some people of a certain age, but for those people who aren't really connected to some of the dresses, there were a lot of outerwear pieces that I think anybody could wear. To me, the strong point of this collection were his outerwear pieces, and there was a lot of gender neutrality in the pieces as well. So overall, I think it was a hit. That's it.
I have to agree with you as well. I mean, I'm happy when I saw this. Very rarely does a designer has a DNA as strong as Custo's managed to carry that forward for decades and decades. And he has been doing that. I remember when he splashed in the scene in the 90s, everyone had a Custo Barcelona piece. And it still seems relevant today. And not many designers can say they have that long of staying power. And for those people who are turned off by the whole thing, I encourage you, go check it out. Wear just the t-shirt, try just the pant, try just the jacket. And it works in any wardrobe.
That's what I thought, Scott. I thought that if it wasn't the full look for you, that there were definitely individual pieces that could fit in any wardrobe of people of different ages. Like you said, it definitely feels like it skews youthful, but like sometimes anyone might want to just have like a cool element, like, do you know what I mean? Whether it's the shirt, whether it's your jacket or whatever. So I think that, and I like shiny things sometimes, so I appreciate it. The very metallic-y shiny. I was like, ooh. So shiny.
Me too.
Well, the next designer collection we're going to talk about is In Earnest by Byron Lars. In Earnest is the new name for the collection Byron Lars. Byron Lars has been around for over 30 years. He's a great African-American designer. We've had him on our show. We love you, Byron, and we love your collections. Now, this collection was only 16 pieces, which for some people is a capsule collection. But Byron knows what he is doing. Thank you, Byron. There were pieces in this collection for every point of a woman's day, every juncture of her day. So even though it's a small collection, it did what actually larger collections do. So there were pieces that, lots of layering, pieces that you could layer, pieces you could wear as a one-of-a-kind piece. And it was just beautiful. And the thing that is so wonderful about this collection is Byron went back to his first inaugural collection in 1991 and used some of those silhouettes in this collection. And Byron was known early on for really borrowing and really reinventing 20th century classics. So if you guys are not familiar with the Gibson Girl, you should become familiar with the Gibson Girl. Those very cinched-in waist, bustles in the back, which was a silhouette of the Gilded Age or the age of the robber barons. Byron took those classics and reinvented them, and he redid it also again in this collection. So they're wonderful, 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 wonderful pieces. Some pants, vests, jackets, everything can be layered. And we live in a time where it might be warm in the morning and cooler in the evening, particularly if you live on the West Coast. That's LA and San Francisco weather. But even in New York City, you know, guys, wasn't it 64 on Wednesday and 33 the next day? So you don't really know what the weather's going to be. And with this collection, you can dress for the kind of peripatetic weather by layering. And Byron is the king of layering. So I love this collection. I think it's great. These collections are always affordable. So women, put these clothes in your wardrobe for the fall and the winter. You won't lose.
I love Byron's collection, and you know, I got familiar with Byron only recently, yes, I would definitely love to incorporate some of his pieces in my wardrobe. I also, what I really appreciate is that he seems to appreciate femininity and like,
yes,
you know, body of a true lady, where he emphasizes the waist. And you know, I'm not into baggy clothes that much, and I really like that, you know, in Byron's pieces you can feel sexy and you know, feminine. And also what I love about his collection is that all of his pieces, you, depending on how you style them, you can wear them throughout the day. So you can easily shift from like daytime to evening. In my opinion, at least I can do that, I think.
I might be dating myself a little bit here, but I remember Byron's first piece back in 1991, and it was a men's shirting material, blue and white stripe, and you open it up on the inside. It had built-in bust cups in it, and on the inside was a lace bra built into the blouse, and it was like sold at Barney's, and it just blew the fashion world wide open. And he mentioned in this collection, he went back to that piece. He's like, well, why are we not still wearing that? It's a great piece. And I agree with him. If you have a great piece, pull it forward, reinvent it, give it new relevance. And one other thing to note, I noticed about this, if you look at them closely, these are like something to be worn as a blouse, but the skirt peels back where you can close it up and it becomes a dress. So these pieces like convertible in and of themselves. And I think it really addresses not just a modern woman's day-to-day, what she needs for weather, but also what she needs for her budget. You can buy that one piece and wear it as a vest, as a blouse, or as a dress. You get three pieces out of one. I think it's very wholly modern, and I'm crazy about Byron. I love what he does.
I love this collection also. I love, at number one, I think, you know, in all of the world of fashion, a woman always does like to have things in her wardrobe that can make her feel elegant, that can make her feel feminine, that, you know, just like you said, flatter the figure, and you like know you look good when you put on the dress. Do you know what I mean? Because of the cut, because of the fit, and because of the details. So I thought like every dress had, you know, was beautifully wearable, but also like a statement piece by, you know, in and of itself, so that it also was bringing that like very high caliber fashion, a very thoughtful, you know, thoughtfully designed dress that then would make you feel stunning wearing it. So I loved it. So yes, we're in. I guess I'm speaking about the last designer that we are focusing on from Fashion Week, and that is Sergio Hudson. And this was another, I think, exciting collection.
I agree.
I think that, you know, basically like success is just is keeping going, like for him. The colors, number one, I do love a color. And so I appreciated all of the different colors that were there. I think it's very wearable, but also very vibrant. And, you know, if you wanted to feel spring, in your, you know, in your clothes, that all of these clothes kind of brought that. I love that he said he was looking at some 90s fashion inspiration as to women who would be in the 90s showing up overdressed for wherever they were going, like the girls in Clueless or Whitney Gilbert from A Different World, and they would just show up in whatever to go, you know, to lunch or at the diner, and they'd be in a full, you know, outfit. And I was like, I was one of those girls and continue to be one. So I appreciate that, because, you know, if you want to dress it up and you want to bring it, I think it's nice to have that opportunity. I also appreciated that there were collaborations in the mix. There was gorgeous shoe collaboration with Malone Soulier. It's like, it's beautiful, like, you know, like kind of, you know, going gorgeously with the outfit. So I thought the shoes were fun. Like, you know, there were full head to toe looks that I thought were lovely. I also like the safari. Like, I think I wouldn't ordinarily think I'd like the safari, but I liked all of the pieces. I was like, oh, I could wear the coat, I could wear the suit, I could, you know, like there was like a full like head to toe suit with a hat, and I was like, I don't know if I'd wear it, but I feel like someone could like rock it because they were all really well put together. I loved the green. I was like, oh, like a green pantsuit. Like, you know, just the colors were so vibrant and rich. So I enjoyed it. What did you guys think?
Well, this was really his spring collection. So unlike other designers that are showing fall 22 clothes, he's actually showing his collection in season. So that's why the bold colors, but it was very reminiscent of the 90s. And I mean, we don't have runway shows where 3 models are walking down the runway at the same time, but he did it. And I wish more designers did it because it's fun. It's entertainment. Fashion should be fun and entertaining. I love the monochromatic looks. I just think it was a fun collection. It was a sexy collection. And we know you ladies, Cicily and Tijana, y'all want to be sexy. So bravo for Sergio Hudson.
William, I got to take exception with you. From someone who produces fashion shows during your fashion week, 3 models on the runway at the same time is a disastrous nightmare from the control booth. But anyway, we'll put that aside. Anyway, so, but no, I thought this collection was actually reminiscent not only of the 90s, but I thought they even went back a little bit further to the Yves Saint Laurent of the 60s.
You're right.
Some of the safari jackets and that. Now, that said, some of the finishes, some of the sheens of the fabric are going to limit the shelf life of this collection a bit. It's going to sort of date it a bit, but at the same time, fashion doesn't always need to last many years. But these are pieces, if you have them and you pull them out, 4 years later, it's still going to seem special because it's not going to seem like a head to toe look. But that safari jacket with a pair of jeans, you dress that look up and you're off to dinner, especially like in LA where you can get by with slightly less dressy than a formal night out in New York. I think some of these pieces have some real legs. I think it's fabulous. I thought the styling was head to toe, one of the best. Yeah, one of the best.
Tijana?
I agree. I also appreciate when a designer gives us pieces, as Scott mentioned, that you can like pull out of your closet a few years later and still wear them with confidence and feel, in. And I love the modern twist to 60s and, some of the older collections. So I think it's beautiful. Beautiful.
Yes.
Well, I have one problem with all of this before you conclude. I only have 2 thumbs, but I need 4. So I'm going to do it like that. I need some more collections. Okay. So.
Well, we could all give a thumb. You know what we could do? We could all give a thumb up at the same time.
One up. There you go. 1, 2, 3.
There you go. There are even more articles, right, around Fashion Week, around fall collections on fashionreverie.com. So that is exciting. So there's even more to learn and more to, try to figure out what you're going to buy. That's what I'm always trying to figure out. What can I
buy? Yeah. Well, viewers, that's it for Fashion Reverie Talks.
We would like to thank so much our guest, Kevan Hall, and of course, Scott French and fashionreverie.com editor-in-chief William Gooch for joining us.
For information on these and other stories, go to fashionreverie.com. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.